Good morning, folks. Papa Joe here. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I still got an hour and a half to kill. Having my morning cigarettes, my coffee in a can. I got here last night. You notice I didn't do a live stream. I was shot out. I read a few messages, made a real short video on another video I'd made, ate dinner, went to bed. I might have been parked up an hour before I went to bed. So, needless to say, I got up early. I'm sitting here waiting on the digital clock. Early morning, my sinuses are draining and stuff. Oh, don't mind me. I'll pause you out. That's liable to happen a few times. I received a message I wanted to answer. It's a Christian question. And yes, I'm still smoking while I'm answering a Christian question. I'm still me. I still have my faults and my sins. I'm still me. I don't like putting on airs. This is a question that I've had to deal with myself, so I can relate very well to their questioning. Here's the comment. Hey, Papa Joe, may I ask your opinion on something that has always bothered me regarding faith/religion? Maybe bothered isn't the right word, but I guess just trying to understand. I've always heard that God has a plan in everyone's life, and you cannot change what God's plan is. My question is, what good is praying going to do if it's already planned out? I'm sure I'm not the only one who has always wondered this. Just kind of wondering what your take on it is. I've asked this question before to people and I get the same answer pretty much, which is you just have to believe and not question it. Thank you for all you do, sir. Well, Brandon, I had that question. I'll get back to you in a second, though. I told you, early mornings and getting old ain't fun. Oh, goodness. Getting old ain't for sissies. And I'm a sissy, so I should quit getting old. Brandon, that's one of them questions where I tell y'all that when I started my walk with the Lord, I was up into my 40s. So it ain't like I was a youngin'. And I've always questioned authorities, questioned life. I've always been a pain in the butt with questions. And that is one of the questions that I had. And I pretty much received the same response that you have gotten. And that wasn't good enough. Where I tell y'all that I went to a good church, and I did. Beautiful people. They really were. Well, they still are. But there was some stuff that they would just do that little dance. Every time I say that, it reminds me of that movie. What was that? The Best Whorehouse or the Little Chicken Ranch, or the whatever it was, with old Burt Reynolds and some of them other about the whorehouse down there, and that governor got caught down there, and they'd ask him questions. He started singing that song about a little dance. Rabbit Trail. Actually, where the church, which the church is the people, has been divided so many times, it's been over questions like this. Better yet, it's been over the answers to questions like this, because it falls back onto each individual's beliefs. And what I have come to believe and understand is that there's two different answers to that question. One of them is that people do believe in a predetermined life. And that's what you're describing there. That God thinks that, or God has a plan for each person. And that's damn near a pretty common response. So my hillbilly reasoning why should I bother to be good? Because when I came to the Lord, my life was a shambles, so to speak. I had done more bad than good in life. I was not a good person overall. Now, I didn't beat the wife and the kids, and I wasn't a drunkard and a dopehead. You know, it ain't like I was a total scumbag, but I wasn't a good person as a Christian should be. I wasn't the person I am today. Not that I'm great today, but I'm better than I was yesterday. So if God has already decided, okay, this one's going to heaven, this one's going to hell, this one's going to be a doctor, this one's going to be a dopehead, that's predetermined. So I worked on that a little bit. And too many places in the Bible, Jesus and the apostles lead us to believe that we have choices to make. Well, now wait a minute. If I have choices to make, then is it predetermined? How many times did Jesus heal someone, run the demons out of their lives, or whatnot, and say, go on now and knock off the damn sinning. Don't sin no more. Go on. Go give your life to the Father. That kind of stuff. More than once. Did not Paul tell us that God did not give us a meek spirit, that he gave us a fighting spirit? Well, if he's telling all of us that, then that tells me that we might not be determined there either. Huh? If we are already how should I say it? If our path is already chosen for us, our future's already laid out, then why would he bother to give us a fighting spirit? He'd only give the fighting spirit to a few. Those that he had already chosen our path, that you're going to be a warrior. Huh. How many times did Jesus tell people he met on his walk, the rich guy that came to him and said, how do I get to heaven? What must I do? And Jesus named off stuff. Yep, done it, checklist, checklist, checklist. Then go sell all of your stuff, give the money to the needy, and follow me. Well, couldn't do it. But he was offered that opportunity. Just in the offering, that showed that he had a choice to make. Which that leads us to the second one. So you've got predetermined, which is what you're talking about. Then we have free will. Free will means that we get to make all these decisions we was just discussing. I have the decision to get up today and either be a total asshole because I'm up early, I can be grumpy, and I could have took it out on that attendant in there, or I can just get up and say, well, damn it, I'm up early, and I deal with my morning. That's a decision to be made. I had to make the decision whether to just accept what religion told us, or I could question it and find my own answers. You already know how that road went, don't you? And this thing about blind faith, where you said your most common answer, you just have to believe. Well, that ain't as easy said for some of us as done. I've always had questions, and obviously you yourself do. I do honestly believe that God has a plan, that he wanted everybody he created to go to heaven. That's what he wants. However, as I've told you before, man was created to accompany God, to walk in the Garden of Eden with him and have conversations. The angels and stuff that he had already created, they were not given free will. They had jobs to do. And it's kind of hard to walk and talk with someone that was created to literally serve you and to do your bidding. So he created man so that he could actually walk and talk with us and have a conversation. To have a conversation of any real meaning, you have to have free will. So he gave us free will, which leads us down the road that we must make decisions. So that's the road I go down. I do not think that before I was born, because God says, I knew you before you were in the womb. So I don't think that our path was determined before we was even born. I don't believe that for a minute. I think that God wants me to go to heaven. I think that God said, all right, if Joe makes the right choices, he's going to end up doing this. I think, although this would go against a bunch of people's grain, I think as we make some of these decisions, God's plans change a little bit. I know that just stirred up some folks. And what I mean by that is, I've told y'all before, I wasn't a nice person before I came to the Lord. I know I was headed to hell, but we all are. Without Jesus, we all are, period. And I think that when I turned my life over to God and accepted Jesus, I think a lot of the plans for my future changed. And as I've walked the walk, whether it was God's guidance or what, as I've come down the path, God is, okay, let's do this. Like this YouTube, like answering you right now. Now, do you really think that almost 60 years ago, God got into the details so much in our lives that he said, Brandon's going to ask this question on this day. And the next morning, Papa Joe is going to, and I wasn't even Papa Joe then. So Joe is going to become Papa Joe and have a YouTube channel, and he's going to answer it like this. That's predetermined. I don't think it worked that way. I think as I progressed in life in general and became a Christian and started learning to be a Christian and learning my walk, I think there's been little decisions made. Such as the Lord decided one of my best ways to serve him was to have a YouTube channel. And I don't know if that helps you or not. I'm sure it sounds kind of confusing. No, I do not believe in predetermined. I do not believe that when we was born, there was a path already laid out. Use these shooters that we've been having lately. Do you really think that, and I don't mean you literally, so don't take it that way. Do you think that God decided on these shooters that, all right, you're going to be born, you're going to have a warped head, and you're going to be a mass murderer? I don't think so. That's not the God I've gotten to know. You know, I think somewhere in their life they've had choices to make, and they chose to go down this other path that instead of having God guide them, the devil is guiding them and creating them to become a shooter, a mass murderer. That's just my thoughts. We each have to make a lot of decisions, and these are the kind of questions that literally has changed the church along its walk. And I'm willing to bet that the Bible scholars can take you right to the point in time where that question was asked and the answer was given, and it split a church up. Another one is that it splits the church is something as simple as getting baptized. Another one is redemption. You know, do we all just stay in the ground until Jesus comes back and then it's a mass rising from the ground and everybody goes to heaven with him? Or when you die, do you go see God? You know, there's a lot of questions like that I'm not going to call them small questions, because they're not. But what you decide to believe in is directing your path in life. If all of this was cookie cutter religion, it wouldn't be free will. You know, this is what you must believe. Just that the church having so many avenues for us to have to pick to go down, we have to decide on an answer to it, just like this question you asked. You have to decide on what answer you want to accept, and then that makes the decision a determination on your next part of your path. If you get what I mean. That right there tells me that it's not predetermined. If it was predetermined, you wouldn't even have the question come up in your head, in my opinion. Let me know if this helped you out any. I know sometimes my answers or explanations get a little long-winded. Sometimes I feel like I'm going in circles on them. Let me know if it answered you any, brother. And always pray. Praying helps on several levels. For one thing, it's communicating with God. And when you communicate with the Father, it helps your spirit. Period. The more you talk to Him, the more active He is in your life, and the better it makes you feel, because you are talking to Him, and your spirit will feel that He is being interactive with you. Now, fight the good fight, my brother. And sometimes that good fight is only trying to understand. So you're doing good. Never be ashamed to ask. Never be ashamed of God. Never be ashamed of your walk. And question everything. The Bible even tells us to question. Ye will know them by their fruits. If you don't question, then how can you have them show you their fruits? Because some of them have their fruits hidden. Remember, God loves you. So do I. He's putting questions in your head and in your heart. Seek out the answers, my brother. Y'all have a wonderful day now. God bless. Bye.